Hi everyone, it's Michelle Silverman Bedell from Silver Sons Realty. And
Hi.
Nanette Albanese is a former assessor in Scarsdale, and we will be speaking, given this time of year when people are thinking about grieving their taxes or reducing their taxes. I thought it would be a really good idea to have Nanette speak to us about the process and why we can try to reduce taxes.
Thank
Please.
you, Michelle.
So tell us, what does it mean to grieve taxes? How do you know you can grieve your taxes?
Okay, well, once a year under a New York State real property tax law, all property owners have an opportunity to challenge their assessment. How do you know if your property is overassessed? That's a difficult question. It's difficult for a lot of property owners. A lot of property owners know what their properties are worth, are in touch with the market, but that's where we come in, or that's where I come in. I'm happy to give you your address, take a look, do some investigating, do some searching, look at comparable sales, and I can tell you whether I think you're overassessed or not.
Okay, and what specifically would you look at? Comparable sales? Would you look at the assessed value? Does it depend on different communities?
Well, the first step, no matter where the property is located, is always go to the municipal website and pull the data, the factual data on the property, including the assessment. Most municipalities, not all, but most municipalities have all the inventory already online.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. They have property portals. So it'll tell you the age of the property. Some will tell you the size. They'll tell you the last day of sale and how much they paid. Rooms, bedroom, and bathroom count sometimes. And then I use that data to plug it into the MLS to determine what is sold with similar characteristics within 1 mile radius of that property within that valuation period. So
within going back 6 months, back
usually
a year?
Going back 12 months, but not every municipality, but most municipalities have different valuation periods and different guidelines. So you have to know specifically their filing deadlines, their valuation date, their taxable status date, et cetera, so that you can pull the proper data to analyze the property.
Most of the dates of the deadlines are coming due, right, in June, all right?
Yes, for towns in Westchester County and the city of Rye. The filing period begins on June 1st and ends on June 16th. It's always the third Tuesday in June. For municipalities outside of Westchester County, it's different, and you have to look up that information on the Office of Real Property Tax Services website. So that can be the fourth Tuesday in May. Yesterday was the filing deadline for Putnam, Dutchess, Rockland County.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I know that New Rochelle this year changed to February.
They did.
Right, and that was like, nobody really knew, and finally I was able to find.
And a lot of people missed the filing deadline because of that.
Right, I'm sure. And January is for White Plains, am I correct?
Yes, the city of White Plains is January 1st, and usually the 21st of January.
Okay.
Yonkers has an even more unique calendar. Their period is November, and so you have to be alert to that. And
people often ask me, like, what's the equalization rate? And it's hard for me to explain it. Like, what really is it?
It's a basic concept, but it is complex. It's difficult to try to explain for people to understand. But the best way I could think of is that when municipalities don't maintain 100% of fair market value. In other words, if your house is worth $1 million, your assessment should be worth $1 million.
Correct.
But that's a difficult process for a municipality to undertake. So when they don't do that, the numbers vary.
Right.
And the only way a municipality can equalize how they treat all properties within a municipality is via this equalization process. And that's performed by the State Office of Real Property Tax Services. They do a survey in every municipality, and they take all of the sales that transpire within a fixed 12-month period, and they take the assessments for those sale properties, and they weed out the highs and the lows. They do a statistical analysis on it, and they'll say, on average, Scarsdale, Greenberg, whatever the municipality is, on average, they are assessing property at X, Y, and Z. But for the municipalities that have done revaluation, like Town of Rye, Town of Greenberg,
Right.
Village of
Greenberg
Pelham,
is-
Town of
right.
Pelham, I should say, Bronxville. They're maintaining their 100% valuations. So that doesn't mean they're always accurate.
Correct.
But it means that they're doing a good job of trying to maintain equity and fairness within their assessment role.
Interesting. And how long does, let's say, once you file, right?
Mhm,
You have
yep.
them sign all the documents to represent them, and once you file, how long, what's the process after that?
Okay, well, it varies by municipality. There are a lot of factors. It depends on how many other filings there are.
Right.
It could be a long process. Although now that the market is so hot, the process has been shortened because there aren't as many filings.
Right, right.
But I'll take Scarsdale as an example. Their last day to file is June 16th, it's a
Right.
Tuesday. The Board of Assessment Review will sit at various times over the summer, and they must file a final assessment roll by September 15th.
Right.
So a property owner or a representative that files a grievance won't hear anything until at least September 15th.
Oh.
And then if they deny the application,
Right.
or if you're not happy with the results of the claim, you could appeal that determination within the next 30 days. So that takes it out to October 15th.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and then it comes back into the jurisdiction of the assessor. And she'll have a pool of them, or he'll have a pool of them, however many there are.
Right.
And then she'll have to go through each one of them. She'll have to either defend them or settle them. And that can take another couple of months. So,
Oh, my.
yeah,
So it could be almost like 8 months or something.
it can
right?
be 6 months. 8 months would be if you're going to go to trial. If you can't come to an agreement with the assessor, they'll ask that it be put on the court calendar, and then they'll give you a date, and that could be at the court's discretion or at the court's convenience. So that could be January, February.
When you say the court, does that involve like the small claims court?
Okay, that is a
Okay.
small claims court
Okay.
specifically for assessment, the property assessment review, and that's a certain part of the New York State Supreme Court, and that part applies for all municipalities in this judicial district. So there's a lot of them.
There's a big. I mean, it's a very tedious procedure. I mean, people think it's easy, but it can take some time to do.
Well, I'll have people say to me, I did this myself a couple of years ago, and it was easy. I got a reduction. I'm like, well, I understand those times were different, but ever since COVID, ever since this market really changed, there isn't anybody that I know of, unless you have a recent sale.
Right.
Unless you have a recent sale, there isn't any property owner that I'm aware of that can go into an assessor's office and ask for a reduction and obtain a reduction. It would have to be a really unique set of
situation.
circumstances, a really egregious overassessment for that to happen. So it's no longer easy, in my opinion. It's not easy for me even.
No,
and I can, I understand the process.
Especially as the prices have really increased so dramatically
Yes.
in certain areas. We
Yes.
were just speaking about that. I mean, it becomes challenging. I
Yeah.
guess people can always do it and always
Yeah,
try.
I always,
it doesn't
some
hurt.
people will do it and they'll get rejected and then they'll call me. And I can file the small claims appeal documentation and I can represent them going forward. Something maybe have been lost in that process, but I don't think for the most part that hurts a property owner. Anybody who thinks they can do it that way should try it. And then they can always call me to appeal it to the next level.
Okay, so I think if you have any questions, I think, or you want to start looking at your assessment to see if you think you can have a grievance or you feel you're paying too high of a taxes. I guess we all think that in Westchester. Please give Nanette a call, right?
Yeah, thank you. I operate under the name I Reduce Taxes. I have a website. You can peruse my website, my telephone number, my email address. Give me a call. All I need is an address, and I'll take it from there, and I will contact you. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I'm fielding a lot of phone calls these days, but I generally get back to my customers within 24 hours at the most, unless it's a unique property.
Okay, listen, have a great day, and please keep in mind Nanette Albanese. She's represented many of our clients and has done a wonderful job. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.